Welcome to the Level Up Your Band podcast, episode 50. Hello, and welcome back to the Level Up Your Band podcast. My name is Gavin Patterson. I'm here with Julian Pombo.
Hey,
What's new? What's new with you?
not much. Well, actually, lots of things.
Not much, but everything.
Yeah, not much, but everything. For those of you who are listening to the podcast, you probably don't care. I'm getting married. I don't know when this video is coming out, or this episode's coming out. Probably way before. But planning for that. It's only been like, day 3, day 4, and I'm stressed already. Honestly, you start stressing out about the weirdest things. Like, for a while, I was stressing out about kilts, and then Rachel was stressing out about how many bridesmaids she should have, and then... Oh, hi, Hazel. You're playing the piano. Let me turn that off. And then... Rachel's mum was stressing about the linen for the tables.
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah.
It's so silly. What has the institution of marriage become?
Yeah.
But so yeah, that's new. That's new. What about yourself, man? Apart from those swanky new headphones that I can see.
Yeah. I got some swanky new headphones. That's everything I've done this week. In fact, no, I got some swanky new chairs as well for the studio.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the other ones were getting a bit old and tatty, so decided to replace them with some good old IKEA boys. Some nice, very comfy actually, very affordable and very comfy. I'm shilling for IKEA now, apparently. Hi, Hazel.
You're going to be on the episode, Hazel. I think this is an episode first.
Oh, no, I've got my thumbnail sorted. There we go. Brilliant.
Oh,
dear. The podcast cat strikes again.
Yes. I don't know where Jess is. I think she's behind me.
So that's cool. That you've got a date sorted.
Yeah, finally.
It's
been
8 years or something.
9 years. 9 years, something like that. Yeah. Well, we've been going out for 9 years, and then engaged for. It's probably the longest engagement ever. We should probably contact the Guinness World Record people. How long were you engaged for? Really?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, no, it's finally happening. It's quite exciting.
Yeah. Hopefully, things will be open again by that time.
Yeah, hopefully. But today, that's all the excitement gone, and now I'm sorry to say we've got a very what's the word? It's fine. It's not that boring.
It's not.
It's essential. It's essential knowledge.
It's an overlooked subject, to be honest.
For sure.
I know personally. I don't know about you, but I know personally many songwriters and band members who completely overlook this and just ignore it as if it doesn't exist, to their detriment. Because if you mess up some of this stuff, it can really screw you up later on. If you aren't careful. So the topic is copyright. I don't know what I'm going to call the episode. Because if I call it copyright, no one's going to listen to it. So I'll be like, the single most important thing in the whole world that you need to care about very deeply.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the last time when I was like, oh, let's talk about music theory, but I'll call the video the reaon why your band sucks and why you don't realise it.
Yeah.
And then halfway through the episode, they were like, this is a sham. They've clickbaited me.
They tricked us.
Yeah, I tricked you. Yeah. Well, tough. You need to hear about it. Yeah. So copyright. That's that. Everyone knows about copyright. It's that sort of legal bit attached to an intellectual property, something that someone has come up with that like a law or some sort of protection against thieving, something that you have created.
Yeah, man.
So and
We could talk about. I wonder. It would be an interesting episode to talk about famous lawsuits, because there are lots.
Yeah.
And some of them, especially in recent history, that I really disagree with.
Right.
I'm just like, regardless of what you think of the artist,
I know the
like,
ones you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
can't. It's like the disputes are usually along the lines of you can't copyright a set of chords. It's usually a top line melody, and you've got disputes over like, oh, I used this chord progression but a different melody, and somehow claiming the rights to. Yeah, we're talking about Ed Sheeran and Marvin Gaye's.
There's one
that's
for that. And then there's the other one. We'll
anyway,
save it. We'll save it.
So why do you want to copyright? So when you come up with something, whether it's an idea for a book, a script, a screenplay, an invention, a song, a poem, a book, anything. It's called intellectual property. So it's not necessarily a physical thing that you can hold in your hand. It's more of an idea, like or a collection of ideas that can be rooted back to you, the creator of that, and that is protected in this country anyway. We're going to be talking about the UK because that's the country we know best.
Yeah, it's the country we live in.
It's the country we live in. Yeah.
I'm assuming that the majority of countries will follow a similar.
Yes.
Similar kind of things. Obviously, there's going to be differences. So you're gonna, if you're living outside the UK, you're gonna have to do that bit of research. Yourself. But this is kind of like.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about.
It'll be following a certain standard.
We're going to talk about institutions that are only in the UK. The US has their own versions of these things.
Yes.
I don't know what they're called. I haven't looked into it. But it's still relevant. So the reason why you want to copyright or claim copyright of your own material is because you want to be able to prove that if in the event that someone reproduces or tries to steal your intellectual property, you can prove that it was in fact yours. Why would you want to do that? Because someone else can potentially profit from your idea without your permission. And you don't want to, I mean, if you want to be stolen from, don't bother with copyright. But who wants to be stolen from, right? You don't have to do this. I mean,
there'll be that one guy.
There'll
be that one guy listening to us. I don't see a problem.
I don't see a problem with being stolen from. Okay, fine. Okay, you're an anomaly, mate. So there's a couple of ways of copyrighting your own material. Now, I was taught about this in college.
Same, yeah.
And it's the whole mailing yourself thing. That was the. There's loads of bands I've been in that are obsessed with this because they were taught it at college, so they thought it was like this official thing. It's a kind of an unofficial thing, and it's not really recognized fully in a court as full on tangible evidence. It's a piece of the pie of the evidence. It's not the whole evidence. So what I mean by sending yourself a copy. So you've recorded a song and you've never released it. No one's ever heard it. You have written the demo and you've got your song, but you plan on releasing it at some point. So what you can do is maybe after you've recorded it, or once you've made a demo at home, you can print it to a disc, pop it in an envelope and get it, get a recorded delivery, go to a post office and get a recorded delivery and send it back to yourself, to your own house, and then never open it. So if you ever get a dispute, you can say, I've got a recorded delivery, which has got a barcode on it, sealed, by Royal Mail.
Yeah.
And inside it is evidence that this song is a certain age, so that you can prove in a court of law that. But obviously, this is just one piece of evidence, and it can be, you can fake it. It's really difficult to fake it, but it's not foolproof, which is why you need multiple bits of evidence. So, for example, you could upload it to SoundCloud and put it on private so no one can see it, and keep it there.
Yeah.
And you can see an upload date. So if someone comes out saying, I wrote that song in 2015, and then you go, well, you can't have, because I've got a demo of it locked on SoundCloud from 2013. Boom. Plus, I've got the mail envelope thing. There's other things you can do as well. You can go to a lawyer's office, and they can put a stamp on it as well, to say that this was officially recognised as your song at this date. But that costs money. That costs a lot of money. So there's multiple different ways of doing that. Most people don't do this. Most people don't do that at all. What they do is they just release it, and that's it. So what happens is, once your song is up on Spotify, well, you can see, well, there it is. That's the earliest. If the first thing you do with your song is put it on Spotify, then anyone who claims they wrote it before that date, they have to provide this evidence that they wrote it before you released it on Spotify. And obviously, if you genuinely wrote the song and they can't provide any evidence, then the song's yours. It's fine. But if you're in the position of the person who you've written a song and someone has just posted your song on Spotify, and you go, I wrote that song. I wrote that song 5 years ago, and you don't have any evidence to show that you haven't written that song 5 years ago, you've just lost your song, because you didn't properly document when you wrote it, and you've lost your song. This is why you need to copyright your material. It's messy, it's kind of spaghetti, weird, legalistic. It's a fun topic.
I imagine that you can get away. So, question here.
Yes.
Right, you could probably do most of this electronically, and it would still be fine. So don't worry about every single song that I've ever written, I need to get everything stamped and sealed and whatever. The fact that you have registered it with, have we talked about PRS yet?
We're going to get onto that.
We're going to get onto that. But doing those kind of things that will help.
Yes.
I never thought about the SoundCloud thing. That's kind of genius. Just as soon as it's written, it's recorded, it's done.
Yeah.
Pop, in you go.
Yeah.
And even most files nowadays, well, actually, all files, like a Sibelius file, for example, if you're done with it, don't touch it.
Yeah.
Don't save it, nothing.
Yeah.
And the last time you worked on it will stay like that. It will tell you last opened.
Yep.
Or it'll have the date on it.
Yes.
So
the reason I'm using the recorded delivery thing is because, well, one, it's not electronic, and it's just an example of something that you can do to prove that you own the song.
For sure, yeah. Actually, I did that when I was really young. I wrote a piece of music. I wrote a piano trio. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's not three pianos. It's a piano. It's usually a piano, a violin, and a cello. It's known as a piano trio. And I wrote that, and my dad was like, "Oh, we should make sure that nobody steals this." And we did the whole thing, and it was kind of fun. It was exciting.
Yeah. I think I have in my drawer somewhere 3 or 4 recorded delivery envelopes unopened from projects I've done in the past.
Gosh.
Yeah. Because I went to college and we got this lesson on copyright and stuff, everyone became super, super, super paranoid. And I was in a band with the band leader made us all sign contracts and stuff. Totally, like, not legally recognized, just literally went on Microsoft Word and typed up a thing. Oh, this is what you're going to get. This is what's going to happen, blah, 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 in the event of this and that,
Wow.
and then made us sign contracts.
In the event of your death.
It was all a bit like, basically they got a basic college level understanding of copyright, and now they think that they're lawyers. A lot of this stuff is like I said, a recorded delivery is just a segment, a sliver of evidence in your favor, and you have to collect lots of bits of evidence. It's like science. You can't just point to one piece of evidence and go, "There, conclusive." You have to gather so much data and figure out from the data where the conclusion lies. And it's the same in a court of law. It's exactly the same. So, for example, whenever we write tunes in our band, we always record our rehearsals and our jam sessions, and it goes up on the cloud. And we've got it's all time-stamped and dated and everything, even from the moment it was uploaded to the cloud, or the moment the file was created on the phone. So we've got that. We've also got demo uploads on SoundCloud, which are blocked off.
Yeah.
I've got all the files on my computer, all the demos I've made in the studio, messages, group chats, Facebook groups. There's so much evidence that these tunes belong to us and were made at these specific times that all of this evidence together builds your case. So that's how you can build up evidence that the song belongs to you. So once the song is yours, you, as a songwriter, you have to then register yourself with, in the UK, you have to register yourself with the Performing Rights Society, also known as PRS. So what they will do, when you go onto prs.co.uk or whatever the website is, and register yourself as a songwriter, and they will give you a CAE or IPI number, which helps them tie your future work to you. So whenever you claim that this song is yours, it will get tagged onto your number, and anyone who plays your music and is registered with the PRS, you will get paid royalties because they've used your intellectual property. So you need to be paid fairly. So you need to register each of your songs with the PRS so that each time it gets played, you will get sent royalties by them. And they will give your song a unique code that ties back to you. And you need to do this on your own. You need to do it. No one's going to do it on behalf of you when it comes to the PRS.
It's honestly, it sounds scary or boring or whatever. It really is.
It's not. No,
it's the most it takes 2 minutes.
Yes, it does.
You just put the title of the song, how long it is, and then bang.
Yes.
And if it's got lyrics, you put the lyrics in there, and you put what kind of genre it is, and
yeah.
There you go.
It's easy. It's really easy. More complicated scheduling an Instagram post, and I should know.
Actually, not even you're right.
Pain in the backside, isn't it? Business Suite, and what's the other one? Creator Studio, and then they never work. And then for the longest time, there, Facebook scheduling. Every time I hit schedule, it would crash, and my Chrome browser would freeze and all that. Honestly, it's so complicated. It's easier than that. So if you can do,
sometimes it's more complicated to go out and do your shopping than it is to sign. Something at PRS. 100%. So the PRS, what do they do? The PRS pay royalties to their members when
their works are broadcast on TV or radio, performed or played in public, whether live or through a recording. So that's them playing your song over a CD or whatever. Streamed or downloaded. So this covers streaming and performing and broadcasting. And the PRS performance royalties are claimed by the songwriters. So you yourself or your manager or something claims the PRS performance royalties on your behalf. So when you go to a gig to play your songs, if you're playing in a PRS registered venue, you tell the PRS that you performed your songs at this venue, and then the PRS will pay you for you playing your own songs. Every time you play a gig, if you're playing a PRS registered venue, you are getting paid to play your own songs. Not a lot of people know that. If you're someone like Paul McCartney and you're playing 50 stadiums, he claims I played Hey Jude and I played Let It Be and all his songs. He's got the set list for all of these places, and the PRS pay him for him playing his own songs. And if you play a cover, you need to tell the PRS that you played a cover, and then the person who wrote the cover will get paid because you played their song.
Yeah,
that's how it works. And they get the money from the PRS gets their money from the venues that pay their PRS license to play or host people that play music. It's copyrighted. That's how it works. It's all done by the songwriter, claimed by the songwriter. If you don't claim it, nobody will. That's how the PRS works. So that's kind of the PRS. That's kind of what they do. It's for songwriters, people who own the song. Now, we'll move on to the MCPS, which is the Mechanical Copyright Protection Society.
We should add that PRS and MCPS work.
They merged.
Kind of together. They've merged.
They used to be
two separate things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now they've become, which actually makes a lot of sense.
Yes, because they're very similar. So they pay royalties to their members when their music is copied as physical products such as CDs and DVDs. So it's primarily Mechanical Copyright Protection Society. So it's mechanical. It's actual physical things like CDs and DVDs.
Yeah.
Streamed or downloaded, which is kind of the same as the PRS. So there is overlap. Used in TV, film, or radio. Yeah,
different from broadcast on TV.
Correct,
and it's people actually taking in your song and putting it into their film, or their TV show or whatever.
Yep. But the MCPS, the royalties that the MCPS collect are claimed by publishing companies. So publishing companies are, this is once your song is recorded and mixed and mastered and all that, you've got your album and it's out there. Whatever publishing company you have published that under, they claim it on behalf. So what the difference is, the PRS, you have to do it yourself as a songwriter. Oh, well, when I say yourself, if you have a manager, your manager will do it for you. But
yeah. If you're exactly, if your earnings, if you're Paul McCartney, he's not going to be doing it.
Obviously not. No. So he will get PRS checks in the mail. Because his manager has claimed that this has happened, and you, Joe Bloggs, who's played in a venue in Glasgow and played Hey Jude that one night, you tell the PRS that you played that song, and then technically Paul McCartney would get paid for you playing that song. But hardly anyone does it. Occasionally you'll go to gigs and the venue will come round with a sheet of paper and ask for your set list and stuff. I've seen that a couple of times. It's very, very rare. Because nobody cares about little venues. There's only 60 people there or whatever. It's not gonna. The venue PRS license is primarily for them playing music over the tannoy, over the PA, while people are having their dinner and having a drink. They care less about bands. It tends to be technically it's illegal, but it's so small that no one gives a rat's ass. But if you're playing to 10, 12,000 people in the Hydro, you bet they will ask you what you're going to play in your set, because there's a lot of money at stake there. So not a lot of people will come into contact with this because they're in the sort of small band territory, which is fine. But this actually exists, and it makes more sense to get into it when you're playing larger venues. So the MCPS is if you got your music published by a publishing company, your publishing company will collect the royalties on your behalf. I use a publishing company. It's called Emu Bands. It's based in Glasgow. They are a publishing company. They distribute your music and publish it on lots of platforms on your behalf, and they collect royalties on your behalf. And then I go onto my Emu Bands account, and the royalties that they have collected for me, I can siphon into my bank account. I don't have to go around all the platforms and say, I've got this many plays and this many plays and this many plays. I deserve this amount of money in royalties. I don't have to do that. They do it for me. Most people, even small bands, use publishing companies, big or small. I'm trying to think of another one. Is it DistroKid?
Yeah, DistroKid is one. I'm pretty sure CD Baby is one as well.
Right.
Are they? Yes, I'm pretty sure.
I've heard of them.
But they're American companies. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what a publishing company is. It's kind of small scale. So there's a third one. We're not done yet.
This is one that a lot of people really forget about, and this is for you guys who don't necessarily write a lot of music but perform on a lot of other people's music.
Yeah. So the last one here is the PPL, or the Phonographic Performance Limited. So what they do, and of course they've got heavy ties to the PRS as well. They're all kind of connected. I think it's either the PPL or the MCPS own and run the Brit Awards.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's one of them. The Brit Awards was founded by one of these companies. Anyway, so the PPL collects and distributes money on behalf of performers and record companies for the use of their recorded music. And I think the PPL started as a subsidiary, or was birthed from the record label EMI. Everyone knows that anyone who's a musician knows EMI was one of the biggest record labels of all time, and one of its Diddy branches called Parlophone happened to land the biggest band that's ever been known to man, the Beatles.
Yeah. They're so big, in fact, that even the Sex Pistols wrote a song about them.
Right.
Hating EMI, actually.
Yeah.
It's not the best song in that album.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. So EMI, I think it was EMI that kind of, how would you say, like founded the PPL.
Yeah.
And what it was to protect the recorded music from being used, because obviously it's a record company. They want to protect their property. So what it does is it collects money on behalf of performers and record companies. So the way to think about it is the PRS collects royalties for songwriters. The MCPS collects royalties. That's to do with like CDs and DVDs and your actual product that you've made, not necessarily the song, because the song and the recording are two different things. So the MCPS collect for the recording, and it's done by publishing companies, and the PPL claim royalties on records, and it's for the record companies. So that's if you're signed your record company will collect and distribute money on behalf of the performers who are signed to that record company. As far as collecting money on behalf of performers, as far as I'm aware, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if you know, you are only recognised as a performer if you are credited by through the legal means. So I'm trying to think of an example. See, likes of arranging credits and things like that on albums. Because there's been disputes in the past with arranging credits can sometimes turn into law disputes with songwriting. The prime example is the saxophone solo on Baker Street by Jerry Rafferty. That he was paid and was recognised as an arrangement credit. You know, this is a session musician who played just a line on a song, and it ended up that line he played on his sax became the most memorable part of that song, and he wrote it himself off the cuff in the studio. And there was a massive lawsuit. I don't know who won. Might have been the saxophonist, actually. Because whenever you go, oh, you know that song Baker Street? Oh yeah. That's just this.
That's not the right song.
That's
Careless Whisper. No.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, I totally just sang Careless Whisper. It's so similar. Yeah.
Oh no.
So that was George Michael, not Jerry Rafferty. Funny. Yeah. Sax. It was a sax thing. So again, this doesn't really come into play until you're it's on behalf of record companies for the use of their recorded music. So if you're like doing all this yourself, and this doesn't really come into play until you're working with big numbers, because you're claiming your royalties on behalf of yourself for the PRS, as a songwriter. So someone has written a song, and that's like it's an idea separate from a recording. You know, your song exists as a non-tangible thing. It's a verse and a chorus and a bridge, right? You can reproduce it at any time with a guitar and a vocal, but the actual product itself, it depends on who created it and who owns it. Of course, when you record your song on behalf of a record label, that record label owns that recording, right? They don't own the song, because the songwriter owns the song. That's protected.
Yeah.
But the record label owns the recording of the song. This is why we've had so many fights going on in law things, court battles going on in the past, is because there's this fine line between, oh, it's my song, but it's not yours. It's not your song. It's our recording. Blah blah blah. So these companies, the PPL, the MCPS, and the PRS, all are trying to fight for the person who owns the thing. And it's basically what we're trying to say is, do your research and make sure that you try to do things as properly as you possibly can, because you never know when things could get messy.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. And in terms of like, there's a couple of different approaches you can go for with the PRS thing, which you didn't mention, because you can have everybody claiming, though, well, this is actually my song and that's actually my song and whatever, or you can go down the Coldplay route, which I personally I think is genius, and I think most bands should be adopting this anyway, because it's kind of just fair for everybody and keeps everybody happy.
Yeah.
Which is that everybody wrote the song.
Yeah.
So everybody's listed as a songwriter. Everybody in the band
Yeah.
is listed as a songwriter.
Yep.
Even though it could be that the song is literally just acoustic guitar and voice,
Yeah.
drummer still credited.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Even if that's the case.
The Beatles did that, but only with Lennon and McCartney. So Lennon McCartney, you'll see it on every Beatles song, is a company. Lennon McCartney is a company. It's not a person. It's two people, technically two people, but Lennon McCartney is almost like a trademark. So when they decided that we are going to co-own everything that we write together or apart. So Paul could go away and write Let It Be completely by himself. Completely by himself. It was he wrote it. But it's a Lennon McCartney song because they made an agreement that everything they write would be credited to each other. I think Imagine by John Lennon is a Lennon McCartney song because it was written, I think it's Imagine. It's either Imagine or Jealous Guy. I can't remember. It's one of the two. I could be wrong. But I think they're Lennon McCartney songs because he was still under that agreement. And it wasn't until after that it was solo. I could be talking garbage. But you're right with what Chris Martin does is he could write a song completely by himself, but because he's a nice guy and he wants to keep his band together because that's in his best interest, because he doesn't want to go solo, he wants to have Coldplay, right? Coldplay's got the name. Everyone likes Coldplay. Well, everyone who likes Coldplay, and they want Coldplay to stay around.
Yeah, people who like Coldplay like Coldplay.
Right? 1 + 1 is 2. Yes. So because he wants his band to stick around, he and his bandmates decided that every song that we write for Coldplay will be credited equally. We all have an equal third, 33.33333% royalties. Meaning, when they go and register their song with the PRS, they put themselves down as Coldplay 1, 2, and 3, whatever their names are. And when the PRS royalties come in, they all get paid equally. That is their decision. The reason why this is an issue is because you can be in a band of 4 members. But put yourself back into the 1960s where you're in a band with 3 other members, and then you're doing all right. You're playing music for 5 years, and you turn up to your guitarist's house for some dinner, and you notice when you turn up in your Ford Cortina with a slightly flat tire, and you turn up and there's a Ferrari in the driveway and he's got a double garage and it's a 3-story house, and you go, what's happened here? Oh yeah, he wrote all the songs.
And it also deals with a lot of different disputes. I'm thinking of the Police actually, Message in a Bottle. It's got that famous guitar intro, that there was a big dispute over who, because I think Sting wrote the song, and then the guitarist was like, well, hey, the reason your song is big is because of the work that I did on it with my guitar. You had nothing to do with that. And they fought it out and whatever, and I think I don't remember the agreement that they came to. But it was a huge point of contention for them. So doing that does get rid of that. It does, it does mean that if you do have somebody who sits in a band and contributes nothing, that they're also getting apart from playing their instrument, which is still a big contribution, but if that's all they're doing, then that's an issue, I guess. Maybe
I would say
if you're bothered by that, then
it makes more sense if you're a smaller band like Coldplay. There's only 3 of them, so split it 3 ways. It's still a because they're so successful. It's still quite a lot of money. But if you're in a 7-piece or 8-piece Steely Dan size band and you split it 10 ways or whatever, you can end up with nothing. So you're gonna have to have it more focused in. maybe some core members or something. But it's up to the songwriter, because you can't as a band go, I think you should share your song with everyone. It's got to be from them. It's got to be them deciding, look, I'm up for this or I'm not up for this. And you've got to be okay with, if you want to be in a band that shares songs equally, then you've got to say that. And if you're not happy with it, then start your own band. For example,
Yes.
I kind of don't have an opinion of it. I've never written a song in my life, and my default position is I don't really feel comfortable taking credit for something that someone else wrote. But if the songwriter in my band wants to credit me as a co-songwriter because they want the band to remain harmonious for all of time, then I'm not going to object to that, obviously. But it doesn't bother me either way, because it just doesn't bother me. But that's me.
Me personally, I mean, you're right. Band size, I think if you're in a maximum four piece, you can totally do that.
Yeah.
Then anybody else that you bring in to play obviously isn't part of the songwriting, but like, you know, have a core group of members, you know.
Yeah.
But personally, that's the default position. If I'm in a band and I'm working with, you know, 2-3 other people, I will just be like, you know, even if I'm the one guy that's writing most of the music, you'll still be writing it with them.
Yeah.
So you might as well include them in, you know, that's kind of how I see it. So I don't know. I'm in camp Chris Martin.
Yeah. I think the thing is, like, if it's not so much the getting royalties back for you doing stuff in your own band, it's like, why should I be paid for a song I didn't write being covered by, say you become famous and there's 100,000 other bands out there covering a song my guitarist wrote that I didn't write, and I get paid because hundreds of thousands of other people are covering his song, and that's where it starts to get, wow, you know, people are featuring.
Yeah, some people might be
their song or
might feel uncomfortable with that, but
yeah, that's where all the contract stuff comes in, because if you're like, I'm totally fine with that,
that's where
then you go back on your word and stuff.
Yeah, that's where communication is key.
Yeah.
You know, so
recurring theme in this podcast.
Yes.
So that's
talk to people.
This is an attempt by me to try and make the subject of copyright a thing, because we don't really talk about it a lot. I'm not an expert on this at all. I've probably got loads of stuff wrong, but I just wanted to bring it up as a thing, because like everyone's writing music right now. Let's face it. Like everyone's inside. We're not gigging. Everyone's writing music. Why not? This is a perfect time to just look through all this stuff while we're not being busy. That was my thought anyway. What were you going to say? Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. 100%. I'm with you. So.
Right.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I can't think of anything at the moment. If you're wanting to know more about this, you know, I think I'm trying to think if there's there will be like music. I'm pretty sure there's like there's a YouTube channel that does like music and legal stuff.
Yes.
Just look it up. Honestly,
the musicians
do more research on it.
In the UK, if you're a member of the Musicians Union, or even if you're not, you can go on their website and it's got
Musicians
all this
Union.
Stuff.
I'm a member of the ISM, which is it's basically the same. It's just another union. So, whichever one you're part of, have a look at their resources and things like that. They'll even have like lawyers and people you can talk to.
Yeah, so you can go on to the PRS, MCPS, and PPL websites, and they will tell you exactly what they do and how they do it. And it's complicated stuff, but it might not seem important if you're just in a band that nobody really knows the name of. It's only your pals that know you, and it doesn't mean anything. But if anything was to happen, like you land a gig that's going to change everything.
Yeah, like your pal,
like my friend who joined a blues band because he was missing music. He, went down to London because he wanted to work at Heathrow Airport. Got a place to play drums in this wee London-based blues band. They had virtually no fans, no nothing, and then they managed to land a gig opening for The Who and securing the support band for their entire British tour of all the biggest stadiums and arenas. Like, mega. There's going to be so many people listening to their songs, and if like thousands, tens and tens and tens and tens of thousands of people will be listening to his song, and he will be paid. The songwriter will be paid by the PRS for him playing his own song, if he's done the PRS thing properly.
Yeah,
of course.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Of course, yeah.
Like, it's insane.
I mean, that's the whole thing. That you want to be in a band because you want to get your music out there. So when your music does get out there, you want to be paid properly for your
for sure. And actually, just tying in. So I mean, apart from performing and getting noticed, like doing that, what if your song starts getting used on TikTok?
Oh my god!
And it's not registered.
Oh,
I mean, even though like I'm at this point. I'm a boomer when it comes to that kind of stuff. I just know it exists, and a lot of songs get big because of that app. Whether the songs are good or not, totally arbitrary.
Yes.
But the song people use songs, and your song might trend, and then you'll be missing out on all that sweet TikTok moolah. So,
yeah, if you this is over and above. Royalties from streams. So when you register your songs, not register your songs, when you publish your songs, so you've got a publishing company that puts them on Spotify, Apple Music, blah 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 blah. You go on to the company that did that for you, and they pay you based on streams, right? That's the MCPS side of things, but the actual PRS side of things, that you have to do that on your own. And if you don't do it, then it will never be claimed. You'll never get money for the songwriting credits. So it'll just sit there forever. Streaming away, your song could go viral, and you could get paid for the mechanical royalties, from Spotify and all that. But there's a whole other side to this, the songwriting avenue that you're just missing out on.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So that's us attempting to go through copyright. We've probably got loads of stuff wrong, but the point was not to go into great detail, but just to let you know that these things exist, and you should go in and look more into it yourself. You should protect your intellectual property and claim it to be yours, because you don't want someone else claiming it to be theirs and them earning money that you deserve. It's just protecting your property, really.
Exactly.
Cool. So that is episode 50. Jeez, we're almost at a year. I think it's three more episodes and we will be a 1-year-old podcast.
Goodness gracious.
Crazy, eh? Mental.
I know. We'll have to do a year review.
A year review. Oh, yeah. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
So to sum up, we didn't gig for a whole year, pretty much.
Yeah. Sum up all that advice we gave you about gigging.
Yeah.
Pointless.
Yeah. Do you remember when we were talking about loading in and practices for talking to promoters and stuff like that? Yeah, that's for us currently in the UK. That is totally irrelevant information, and probably some parts of the US as well.
Yeah,
but there are some countries that are completely lockdown free and are gigging and doing all this stuff. So for the people who are in those countries listening, yeah, keep listening. We'll
Yes.
we'll try and tailor content for everyone, but we can only make content that makes sense to us in specific times. It just doesn't feel right talking about gigs when I haven't had a gig since March last year. It's like I can't remember things.
Yeah, man.
It's not
crazy.
current in my mind.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Anyway.
I used to take for granted going for gigs.
Yeah, I know.
I was talking to Rachel about this, and I was like, "Geez, I used to actually complain. I used to be like,
know.
oh, geez, I have to go out on a Saturday night. And I need to play Stevie Wonder and all this nonsense."
Yeah.
In a pub.
I feel so bad for complaining.
So people can enjoy it. And now I'm feel terrible. I'm like, I want to go out and play my best, Stevie Wonder Superstition.
You want to play Proud Mary and Sweet Caroline and the Slosh.
Yes.
And just, yeah.
Yeah.
Brown Eyed Girl.
Beautiful Sunday, all of them. And just enjoy it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So on that bombshell, we'll leave it there. So
Yeah.
if you are enjoying the podcast, please leave us a rating on Apple Podcasts, because that will help us vastly, and it'll help the podcast reach other people that might find it interesting. And if you know anybody who would be interested in listening to podcasts, please recommend it to them if you want to. And we also do some free downloadable PDFs on our website, www.levelupyourband.com. You can download some sheets on music theory and our suggested affordable gear list, and some tools, online tools that you can use to manage your band.
Yeah, like admin tools and things.
Yep.
Yeah.
And other such things in the pipeline. Cool. So, coming up on 1 year, I'll need to try and think of something that we can do for our 1 year anniversary. We'll see. I don't know. Think of something. But anyway, until then, hope you all have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.